Steve Dale on WGN, Steve Dale's Other World. So the other day, my friend saw a dehydrated alligator. That can happen. The veterinarian prescribed Gatorade. Here he is, Frank Alligator Robb, on the telephone with us. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Mr. Steve. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. I apologize profusely for everything I just said, but you must hear those sorts of things all the time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's nothing new. It's always quite the chuckle. Yep, for sure.
You don't really sound like you're chuckling at all. What's most important is I want to know how you're feeling, because for those who haven't followed Alligator Robb personally, yes, you took the gator, and we'll hear about how Chance the Snapper is doing in a moment, out of Chicago, relocated Chance to a warmer climate in Florida, and you yourself had some medical issues then, and you needed some help from Chicagoans. I think we came through, but most important, how are you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Chicago continues to bless me over and over again. Some of the best people in the world, without a doubt. I'm doing good. I have a lot more up days than I do down days, but I had a heart valve repair and a chest repair at the same time. So it's been an interesting 13 weeks since that. Praise God, doing pretty good.
Well, you were able to travel. Unfortunately, we couldn't have you on the radio last week because you were doing something really more important. That's going to a Cubs game with your dad. You threw out the first pitch at one of those Cubs games. You've become the alligator wrangler of Chicago, even though that doesn't happen every day in Chicago. But that kind of thing or worse happens every day in Florida, because in Florida, people get, for reasons I don't know exactly, reticulated pythons and a variety of turtles that really shouldn't be pets. And even if they should be or can be, they don't know about what they're getting, and they end up releasing them. Now, you do that with a herp or a reptile or amphibian in Chicago, that animal will probably die and just not make it through the winter. In Florida, they do, and they wreak havoc on the environment. It's kind of a mess down there in that sense, isn't it?
Yeah, we have enough invasive species down here to make our own little planet, pretty much. Being a subtropical climate, there's so many things that can make it down here that don't make it other places. We have invasive frogs, invasive geckos, invasive chameleons.
Yeah,
about anything you can think of, it's down here, and it's thriving. They're doing great.
Speaking of doing great, how's Chance the Snapper doing?
He's doing good. He's pushing 6 feet. He's probably around 5'8", 5'9" right now, and his nose is no longer bent, which is pretty awesome. He's really grown into his body, and he's getting to be a big gator.
Explain the bent nose thing to me. I mean, I'm thinking Danny Thomas or something like that, but that's not true.
No, so when traditionally, if you keep a crocodilian in a climate or an area that's too small for it, like him, he was probably in a fish tank, and it's too small for him. He had his nose kind of buried up against the edge, and had been that way for a long time, and it bent his nose up.
Wow.
It's a typical thing you see with crocodilians when they're not being housed correctly.
So he's doing great. You're doing great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all of that is good. Sir. So tell me about the environmental education, awareness, research, support, and services that you began.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a nonprofit. I actually started a couple of months before I came up there to Chicago the first time. And, we've recently got our 501. We're tax exempt. We're doing research with NC State, kind of some research with a bunch of different universities around the country. Right now, the things we're working on are environmental toxins, doing some stuff with University of Southern Indiana with lipids and alligator skin, kind of a lot of everything, but basically focusing particularly on environmental contaminants with crocodilians, but do a lot of educational outreach and things like that as well.
Why is that important? Why is it important to be concerned about the alligators, and for that matter, the crocodiles that live off the coast of Florida? Why does that matter?
Well, they're a keystone species. They're a valuable part of our ecosystems, and they can tell us so much about what's happening in our local environment. their endocrine system or their endocrine hormones are a direct match for ours. So we use them as a sentinel species for human health. We'll look at their urine, their blood, and their tissue, and look at things like PFAs, for instance, or forever chemicals. Them being an apex predator, they eat everything in the environment. So they're the first animal to show what's happening. That'll eventually be things that'll eventually be happening to us. They kind of give you precursors to what's coming up. There's so many important things about them. That's just one of the many things we're looking at right now.
So some species don't get cancer. I thought that crocodilians, including alligators, don't. Am I remembering my Biology 101 correctly?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they can still get sick. That's
Sure.
actually what I wrote my thesis on at one point.
Really?
They can still get a lot of contaminants and different things. I mean, everything from silver poisoning on up that can happen in them, where they can get sick, and there's a virus called an adenovirus that can sometimes get in their brain and almost cause like a meningitis of the brain. Mm-hmm. That's something that can happen to them. They don't get cancer per se, but there are a lot of other environmental effects that are causing their immune systems to go haywire, which should really be scaring people.
Well, and yes, so we can learn on both ends of that. I mean, why are they getting these kinds of things that they shouldn't be getting, having to do with the environment? But why don't they get cancer is what I'm after. If we can figure some of that out, then might we be able to help ourselves?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Dr. John Wise has been working on that for quite a while. Looking into it pretty deep. I know their blood chemistry is a lot different from ours. They have a nucleated red blood cell. There's a lot of different things about their blood chemistry and their reactions to different things that happen in the blood, chromosome-wise, and things like that. So we have a lot to learn. I tell people all the time, we've learned maybe a teaspoonful and a 2,000 square foot house. We know nothing right now really about crocodilians. It's an ongoing challenge we're dealing with.
And it's not only the American alligator and the saltwater crocodiles, which we do have, don't we, off the coast of Florida?
Well, I have American crocodiles, not saltwater crocodiles, but
Okay.
yeah, we have the American croc, which is the whole reason the American alligator is protected, because there's only 1,000 pairs of them in the state.
And then the saltwater crocodiles that I'm mentioning, they're off the coast of Australia, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
Australia, Borneo, over that direction.
Right. All over that direction. And there are other species that people haven't even heard of. So why is this? If a crocodile, any of the species chomp down on you, you're probably in trouble. Some more than others, but you're probably not going to have a good day. However,
it would be a very bad day. Yes, sir. Yep.
However, I can take my little finger and hold the snout down if it's already closed, and they can't open it.
That's the theory. Yeah, I've seen them break duct tape. They have a lot more power. They have a lot more power than people realize. They're a very strong animal, and you're not gonna be able to test strength with them. I mean, even what Arnold in his prime would have a hard time.
And they've been around for a very long time and continue to more or less, depending on the species we're talking about, be somewhat successful. How long have crocodilians been around? They lived with dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, that's the reason that the dinosaurs are all gone. The crocodilians ate them all.
What? No. Now you're going too far. I know better than that.
You started with a joke, so I'm trying to get them going now.
No, I appreciate that. I like that. All right, we will keep in touch if there's anything we should know about Chance the Snapper or some research that you're doing that impacts us in some way, shape, or form. Please let us know. It is good to catch up with you, sir. And most of all, it's good to hear you laugh even at really bad jokes. That means you're healthy, and that's a good thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you very much, Steve, for having me on. If you ever end up in Florida and you want to come play with some critters, by all means, give me a yell.
I might well do that. Thank you so much. I once swam. Thank you. I once swam with alligators in Florida. Maybe it wasn't the smartest thing that I've ever done, but I did that, and I'm still here. Coming up after the news, Chief Operating Officer for City Cruises. We're going to hear what's happening or what's going to be happening on July 4th weekend on WGN.